I want to just quickly say a couple of things, and then I'll turn the floor over to Will. As you'll hear, it's the most remarkable synthesis of the presocratic roots of philosophical materialism that led to the enlightened mechanistic views, and then on to a critique of those views opened up by Einstein and the new physics. It then applies this theoretical model to a very careful, detailed analysis of the Abrahamic traditions with a focus on Adam, the classical mythology focusing on Prometheus, and then even the Grail with the symbolism of the stone in Wolfgang von Eschenbach. As Maria said, he essentially wrote 2 dissertations, if not 3, because all 3 of these factors are done quite remarkably well. And I have to celebrate Will as a person, having had the pleasure of having you in the classroom. Your energy, enthusiasm, initiative, perseverance, determination, all those old-fashioned virtues are exemplified by you. And it makes me a little bit nostalgic for my youth and feeling my age more when I see you in action. But it gives me great hope for the future, for your own and for bringing mythological studies into the world. So I'm going to turn the field over to you and hear and see your presentation.
Thank you, Lance. You just step aside. Thank you very much for that introduction, Lance. It means a lot to me just to know that the 3 of you even understand my work, and Devin too, of course, and Britta sometime soon. I'm hoping maybe in about 20 minutes. Yeah, no, it's very meaningful to be able to even have conversation partners and to actually be able to talk about this stuff. And on that note, I want to dedicate this defense to all the friends that I've ever had that have ever listened to me talk about this stuff, whether it's in a car ride by campfire or in serious situations. So thank you to all those friends that are here and who can't be here and who are here by not being here. So moving into the talk, I was actually thinking that I had to do a protocol standardized, read of the abstract to get going. But since I don't have to, and I've learned that, I think it's better to just skip it, because I had all kinds of silly jokes planned about how hard it was to actually follow just reading it out loud, But I do want to start just lighting this candle. Maria, I can just describe this to you. Devin gave me this, and it's an apple with a fire inside. So to get started, we'll take the fruit of the fall and the fire of Prometheus, where my story begins, and put them both here. Thank you, Devin. Okay, so
don't let Jeff Abraham see that.
Okay. So skip the abstract. Maybe we'll read it at the end or not. And since it gives me a little more time, I might open up a little more. But I'm going to try and keep it concise. And I know that as soon as I start explaining anything, I run out of time for the whole thing. So it means a lot to me that you guys have come. This is I've been working on the dissertation for 3 years and following this line of thought since I was 17, really. And since I realized some of the existential potential implications of materialism, and it ate at me really hard. And so in my undergraduate years, I studied materialism in philosophy and science. And as a graduate student, I really dug into the religious and mythological stories and symbols surrounding materialism. And this dissertation aims to synthesize my work as an undergraduate and graduate with materialism. So, to simplify, there are really 3 hypotheses. As Lance was mentioning, there are 3 real things I'm trying to say here, and I thought it'd be nice and simple to just break down the 3 hypotheses and then go through them one by one. The first is better worded on the page than I'm going to just make words up on the fly. So, Western origin stories of knowledge demonstrate initiations into the perception of material isolation and isolated matter. And I'll explain more about what I mean by that in a moment. The second hypothesis is that the continuations of these knowledge narratives convey the transcendence of material isolation and the perception of matter as isolated. Then the third hypothesis is about how to go from step 1, a commitment to a materialistic way of seeing, to step 2, which is a transcending a material limitation, that fulcrum point has everything to do with waves. So the transcendence of material isolation and the perception of matter is isolated, that these continuations of Western knowledge narratives convey, is contingent with the integration of waves and elixirs. And we'll get more into all these. So the way that I designed my dissertation was really influenced by the scientific method, which is to kind of present what you're thinking about in the beginning, and then to go through the material as it is without you, and then to come back to the material. So at this stage, I'm going to show you guys 3 videos of the 3 stories that I was working with. The first 2 are more direct, the mythological ones. I had to be a lot tighter with the story of philosophy just to get it in here. So enjoy these. I'm going to sit down with you. It's just going to be about 5 minutes. Prometheus. Prometheus created humans and ignited the psyche. He counseled Zeus in his war against the Titans and created a black hole to imprison the fallen rulers. But once the Olympian monarch established his rule of order, Prometheus rebelled against his first decree, a flood that would kill all humans and wipe the slate clean for Zeus. By advising his progeny to fashion an ark, he saved the young race, until, at a feast, a rift was roused between gods and men. To resolve the issue and establish a bridge between disputing parties, he invented the burnt offering, though this gesture became a ritual standard. For attempting to trick Zeus into receiving unwanted waste as a generous gift, humans were deprived of fire. In an act of necessary rebellion, the progenitor stole back the fire in a hollow fennel stalk, with which he delivered knowledge beyond instinct. How to work clay, wood, metal, numbers, and words to make art, food, and tools. This defiance of Zeus brought punishment upon Prometheus and his people. To humans he gave Pandora, not a woman like Prometheus' wife or his ally Athena. Hesiod presents her as a misleading fiend, a plague on humanity, a contorting influence on the human psyche. Once married to Epimetheus, Prometheus' brother, she opened the jar, mistranslated centuries ago as a box, and introduced suffering to human life. By this time, the human benefactor had been exiled to a rock at the edge of the world, to the place of the sunrise, where, chained to a stone, furious at Zeus, he foresaw the tyrant's downfall. And, for refusing to reveal the prophecy, a ravaging eagle was loosed on his regenerative liver. Still, true to his foresight, Zeus' own son later freed him from bondage. Okay, so let's do the story of Adam. And I'll just tell you that the story of Adam is mostly direct quotes that I've weaved together. Adam was made in the image of his creator, from the dust of the ground. The prime and progenitor of men was then brought to life with the breath of God. To resolve his solitude, God created Eve from his rib, face, tail, or shoulder. And as Milton describes, she was even more adorned and lovely than Pandora. In the Garden of Eden they named the animals and shared in paradise. God's only decree was their abstinence from the fruit of knowledge. The serpent seduced Eve into tasting the fruit, which she then shared with Adam. They hid from God, who, at midday, confronted the couple. He said, "You transgressed of your own free will, through your desire for divinity, greatness, and an exalted state. Because you ate the fruit of the tree which I commanded you not to eat, cursed is the ground because of you. In pain you shall eat of it all the days of your life. You are dust, and to dust you shall return." He then cursed Eve with the labor of childbirth, and exiled Adam to labor of the field, lest he reach out his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat forever. He said, "Get ye down from the garden, both of you, all together with enmity one to another. On earth will be your dwelling place, and your means of livelihood. Therein shall you live, and therein shall you die." They wailed and beat their chests for having been severed from the garden, and entered the cave of treasures. Adam said to Eve, "Our eyes have become of flesh. They cannot see like they used to see before. The word of God is hidden from us, and the light that shone over us is so changed as to disappear. Look at this cave that is to be our prison in this world, in which darkness covers us, so that we are separated from each other, and you cannot see me, neither can I see you." At first they fasted, but eventually their bodies changed to conform with their material diet. According to the Acidy, Adam became troubled because his belly was inflated. God therefore sent a bird to him, which pecked at his anus and made an outlet. When Adam made love to his wife, she became pregnant, and Cain became the first to be born and the first to murder. As the earth rejected the innocent blood of Abel, Adam was the first to be buried in the earth. And today, Catholics, Coptic Christians, Syrians, the Georgian Orthodoxy, and all of those who jointly inhabit the Church of the Holy Sepulchre recognize, beneath the crucifix, an exposed crack and stone through which, when Christ was smitten by a spear, blood and water flowed from his side, down into the buried mouth of Adam, to baptize and redeem the father of the fall. Check out this technology. According to Aristotle, Thales gave birth to philosophy. Oh, check out this technology. Yeah. About as reliable as ever. According to Aristotle, Thales gave birth to philosophy with his premise of reductive materialism, which became a crucial foundation to Western thought and the development of science. In Miletus, the same Eden of thought from which Thales emerged, Leucippus gave birth to the theory of atomism, which became similarly integral to Western thought and the development of science. Materialism and atomism were then championed by Aristotle, Epicureans, and the Stoics throughout Hellenistic and Roman history. According to some, atomism died out with Rome, to be revived by Europeans who gained access to Arabic translations of ancient Greek sources. According to others, atomistic theory endured without disruption. Either way, atomism and reductive materialism became crucial to the development of European science and Newtonian physics, which dominated the cultural worldview through the Enlightenment and continues to influence the way people think to this day. However, there have been many challenges to reductive materialism, and none more decisive than Einstein's contribution of general relativity. His theory that matter can be transposed into energy forever undermined the scientific belief in reductive materialism. Similarly, his synthesis of wave behavior with that of the particle, and what's come to be known as the photon, undermine the scientific belief in reductive atomism. These theories of Einstein's brought physics beyond the false foundations of particulated matter over 100 years ago, and by now, technologies that have emerged from his theories are conditioning contemporary individuals in ways that make the limitations of matter and the significance of waves far more recognizable. For example, the study of electromagnetic waves has resulted in the inundation of contemporary culture with radio, Wi-Fi, and satellite wave signals that carry virtual images and sounds beyond their material limitations.